Hi everyone, my name is Marta and welcome to Imperfect Life Balance. On my channel you can expect videos about productivity, efficiency, effectiveness, motivation, and any other topics that are related to finding the work-life balance that you desire. So today we're going to talk about productivity habits. So things that you can implement in your everyday life that are going to help you be more productive. I will share 5 productivity habits with you that I myself am using and that I have found to be extremely helpful when it comes to productivity. So the first habit that I have for you is to write things down. Simple enough, right? So what do I mean by that? I feel like we live in a world where information is coming at us from left and right, from the moment pretty much that we wake up until we go to sleep. And 1, we have to navigate through this information and figure out what's important. And 2, we have to figure out how we're going to respond to this information. So this could be things like, you heard some tips on the podcast, or maybe you need to remember to send invitations for a birthday party. Maybe you need to remember to schedule a dentist appointment. Or maybe you need to remember that next week when you're going to meet your client for lunch, you have to ask them some specific questions in order to move your project forward. So those are the types of things that I myself am writing down. That way, I don't have to remember in my head that I have to do something, and I have it reference either on a piece of paper, on a computer, or my phone. Now, before I had kids, I feel like I didn't have to pay that much attention to this habit. I feel like I didn't have that many things to remember. Now, once I had kids, it got a little more trickier. And once my son started school, that just changed everything. There was so many little things I had to remember, whether it's, bring your shoes on Friday because it's a gym day, or return books to the library on a specific day of the week. Or maybe they're having some activity that I have volunteered for. It's just impossible for me to keep track of those things in my head. So instead, I just write things down. So personally, what I use is I have a planner where I put different types of reminders for myself for that specific day. I use Google Calendar for any appointments that I have. And I also use my alarm clock on my phone for a lot of things. If it's something as a reminder, hey, on my way back from picking up my kids, I need to stop at the store and get milk, I'll put it as an alarm. So on my way back, the alarm is going to trigger me, hey, you have to stop by at the store. Now, why do I think this is so important? If I don't write things down, obviously, more likely I'm going to forget about it. But how is that related to productivity? If I don't write things down, what is happening is I cannot concentrate on a task at hand. So I might be doing a report at work and I'm trying to, gather the information. And as I'm typing it out, what's happening in my head is that I keep getting interrupted by my own thoughts. It goes like, hey, remember to pick up that milk after work. Hey, remember that you have to ask this question of a customer. And I keep on having these interruptions in my head and I cannot concentrate on what I'm doing, and it makes the process much longer. Instead, if I write it down, it's like I'm giving my brain a permission to put it aside. I don't have to remember it anymore. I already took an action of putting it down on a paper or on my calendar as a reminder. And when the time comes to take an action, something will remind me of it, whether it's my computer, an app on my phone, or my planner. So if you don't have the habit of writing things down, I highly encourage you to do it because I promise it's gonna free up a lot of space in your brain and it's gonna help you stay concentrated on what you're doing and you're gonna be much more productive that way. The second productivity habit that I really found helpful is to have routines. The 3 main routines that I have are evening routine, morning routine, and weekend prep routine. And by routines, I don't mean to have like a rigid schedule where I get up in the morning at 6 a.m. and I eat breakfast at 6:10 and go take a shower at 6:15. Nothing like that. By routine, I mean having a little bit of structure added to your activities. So for me, probably the most important routine that I have is my evening routine. So it's a specific set of activities or tasks that I have and that I like to accomplish to set me up for next day. So for us in the evening routine, I like to make sure that I pick up my kitchen before I go to sleep. I like to make sure that our clothes are picked out for the next day, so I don't have to worry about it the next morning. I like to make sure that my son's backpack is in order and ready for the next day, and things of that nature. So because I do this routine every night, I get more and more efficient every night that I do it. I don't have to think about it anymore. I just know I have to accomplish those 3 or 4 things every night, and I just automatically do it. I don't waste my time thinking what else I have to do tonight to prepare for tomorrow. And it's very hard for me to forget to do something because I do it every single night. So if currently you do not have any routines, I would definitely suggest starting with the evening one. But if you're interested, I will link down below my routines that I have posted on my blog, and they are for morning, evening, and also for the weekend prep. The third productivity hack that I highly recommend is having checklists and to-do lists. So it is related to the first habit about writing things down, but instead of writing those little things down, checklists and to-do lists are for those bigger projects or when you are planning your day. So for example, as far as checklists go, I like to have a checklist when I have either a big project at work, then I kind of put all the tasks that I need to accomplish for that particular project. Or at home, I like to have checklists for things like planning a birthday party. Or when I'm hosting a Christmas dinner, I like to have a checklist of all the things that I need to do to make it a success. And a great thing about checklists is that you can definitely reuse some of them. You can create a printable for yourself and use it even every single day if you need to. For example, if you are just starting out with routines, create a checklist for yourself. These are all the things that I need to accomplish each morning, and you can check them off as you go along. And I also have a habit of creating those to-do lists. I use a to-do list every single day to set up my day. So I list all the things that I would like to accomplish that particular day. And whatever does not get accomplished, I just simply move it to the next day wherever it fits. For me, having a habit of checklists and to-do lists allows me to have a plan of what I need to do for a particular activity or task in order to get it accomplished. And having such plan makes me more productive because then I know exactly what I need to be doing. The fourth habit that I highly recommend to be more productive is to have a clutter-free space. I don't mean that you have to have a spotless house because I definitely don't have that. But what I am recommending is to having a space where everything has its place so you don't have clutter around you. Because I don't know about you, but every time I get overwhelmed, whether it's at work or at home, the first thing that I tend to do is to put things away, to organize stuff around me, because I feel that if I don't have clutter on the outside, it's much easier for me to really concentrate, be creative, and come up with the solutions that I need to address a specific problem that I am having. So for me, I know that I like to wake up to a clean house where everything is put away. And when I get downstairs in the morning, I'm not tripping over toys left over from the night before. And just having that clear space sets me in a good mood, and I'm having a really productive mindset from the moment I get downstairs. At work, what happens if I get overwhelmed with there are so many priorities coming at me and so many deadlines and different phone calls and emails? The thing that I like to do first is to get my inbox in order, get rid of any emails that I don't need, create a to-do list based on the tasks that I have in those emails. And the last thing that I also like to do is to organize my desktop to make sure I don't have thousands and thousands of folders there, but that everything is organized and put away. That organized space on my computer really allows me to concentrate and figure out what I need to do to address a specific problem. And the last tip that I have for you is to do one task at a time. So in other words, forget about multitasking. It just doesn't work. I remember when I got out of college and I was looking for my first job after college, multitasking was like the thing to do. Make sure you put it on your resume, make sure you talk about your ability to multitask to your potential employers. And over the years, I have found that that just simply does not work. It's impossible for you to concentrate on two things at the same time. Think about it. You might think you're actually doing it, but I promise you, you are not. If you're trying to at work listen to a meeting and at the same time try to write a report, you are either doing one or the other. I have been on so many meetings where somebody asks a question and the person on the phone responds, Can you repeat that question, because I was trying to multitask and I did not hear what you were saying. In my experience, when you're trying to multitask, one of two things will happen. Either you are really concentrating on the one task, like in this example I gave you, you're really concentrating on writing a report and not listening to the meeting. Or what is happening is you're trying to do two things at once and you end up taking so much longer to complete those two tasks versus if you would just concentrate on doing one, finish it, and move on to the other. So the only thing I can see where multitasking would work for you is maybe if you're trying to fold a load of laundry and watch a TV show, because you can fold laundry without paying much attention to it and you can just watch your show. So if you're doing a mindless task like that, it might work for you. But if you actually are doing things that require you to listen, to concentrate, then the only way to be more efficient and effective is to do one task at a time. And that ultimately will help you be more productive. So that is all I have for you today. Give it a thumbs up if you like the content of this video and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any future ones.